Good evening and welcome to Carrow Road on a glorious April evening as Norwich City hosts Sunderland. From home park to home comforts for Johannes Hoff-Thorop's side, who were beaten at bottom of the table Plymouth Argyle at the weekend. The result that leaves the Canaries 11th in the championship table and 8 points outside the playoffs with 6 games left to go. As for Sunderland, it's the same margin of points as they find themselves outside of the top two, but they are all but mathematically assured of a playoff place, and that could be the case at the end of this midweek batch of championship fixtures. Ball push forwards into midfield. Norwich working the ball nicely in a bit of room now for Ben Slimani, who was the Norwich scorer when the sides met back in December, and a good piece of play from Borja Sainz. The ball deflects behind for a Norwich City corner. Interesting to hear this week as well. Johannes Hoff-Thorop was saying that his team have scored so many goals this season, but they've only scored 3 from corners. It should be 20, which I think is quite ambitious.
Yeah.
But you see his point as well.
Yeah, slightly exaggeration, but it's been a good start to the game. Open game. It does look like two teams that are not under huge pressure.
Clever ball threaded through here, and another ball towards the back post. The header towards goal. And Norwich were not too far away at all from an opening goal there. And it's Ben Slimani attacking the cross.
You can see it's McLean skipping back here. He's a midfield player, but he's playing left back. Splits the defence. Lovely clipped ball towards the far post. You can see there Slimani does catch the outside of the post, but I think at the very least they should be hitting the target. I won't say it's a clear chance, but it's a pretty good one.
And a free header as well. Risk taken here, and it's put Sunderland in trouble. Ball rolled across to Borja Sainz, pushed away by Patterson. And another opportunity comes and goes for Norwich.
It's Dan Neil there. It takes too much of a risk there in terms of dribbling out the back. It's one thing to run in between opponents, but when you're trying to dribble around someone and you're that close to your own goal, if you do lose it, you're in big trouble. And Anthony Patterson came to his and Sunderland's rescue.
Pocket of space picked up by Nunez. He flights it out to this near side where it's brought down instantly by Borja Sainz, who's working his way, weaving his way in field, and he's still going here, taking on all comers and keeping possession of the ball as well. Now Nunez scrapping away, trying to keep hold of it. In comes across Borja Sainz with the header. A header which goes straight to Anthony Patterson, but another chance created for Norwich City.
Yeah, I think he has to do better with a header. But again, it's all Norwich City at the moment, all the home team. They're swarming across the Sunderland defence, which is fairly packed. But they're linking up really well, Norwich City, and there's some nice, sharp, creative footwork around the edge of the penalty box. They're getting crosses in towards the players that are attacking the box.
It's going to be a busy summer, you feel, for Norwich City, with players being linked away and contracts expiring. Here's Nunez. Right, he fancies it here, and he has a go. Not too far away.
Well, I can understand the player claiming it's a touch from the goalkeeper. I'm not sure that Johannes Hoff-Thorop can see it from these angle there. On our replay, it's not clear that the goalkeeper does get a touch from Anthony Patterson.
Delia Smith watching on here tonight. Picked up again by Borja Sainz. Into right. It's going to take the opportunity here to push it forwards. He finds Sargent, first time strike. Straight though at Anthony Patterson.
It's too passive, isn't it, from Sunderland? They've got bodies back behind the ball, but no one's actually going and winning the ball back. Everybody's back in position. They think that's enough, and it isn't. When you've got that many players back in defensive positions, how on earth has Josh Sargent got all that time and space?
Difficulty for teams like Norwich and Sunderland as well is when they don't have the parachute payments that the teams that now seem to be regularly bouncing between the two divisions. You might get there a bit quickly to the Premier League, and it might not be at the ideal time in terms of having the club set to compete, but it does then give you the comfort when you come back to the Championship to be able to have a bigger squad. They have some defending to do here. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Wright whips it in. Yoda gets his head to it, but Norwich now get to have a go from a corner.
Yeah, Labrie seems to be a good fit. And again, this set piece doesn't amount to an awful lot, but it does result in another opportunity for Norwich just before half-time.
Ball looped to the back post, Duffy contesting. Shot fired in and it's cleared away. I'm sure Patterson would have been able to react to that.
Good cross towards the far post, and Shane Duffy, as always, approaching the danger area, and Nunes following up, which he has done on a frequent basis in the first half for Norwich.
Borja signs with a nice shift inside, but he can't work away beyond Alexic. Now Wright. Signs, flicks it on first time. Lovely play. And then he went for the Rabona, deflects up awkwardly, and it drops in the net, but I'm sure you will have heard the whistle had already gone. Emiliano was wheeling away, perhaps more in hope than expectation.
Borja Sainz with some lovely play here. Couldn't resist the Rabona, the ball deflects. Patterson gets hold of the ball first. How much is it significant contact to knock the ball out of his hands? I think Marcondes puts his hand up.
Did he get a hand on it himself?
Yeah.
Emilio Marcondes.
I didn't think it was too much against the body of the goalkeeper. The fact he puts his hand up, sure, he touches it with the hand, but the hand goes up, goalkeeper will claim it puts him off.
Ball push forward, seeking Watson. He looks to just play one in to find Mayenda, but it doesn't get to him. Now Brown. Watson again. Low ball in, takes a nick on its way through. Mayenda could have made more of it. Should have made more of it perhaps, but all of a sudden Sunderland starting to bare their teeth here. Sent in once again by Watson. Norwich having to do some thinking here defensively, just having to knuckle in perhaps for the first time in the game.
Alan Brown involved, and he gets the ball out wide to Tom Watson. Nice little dribble, early cross. It does fall to Mayenda. You can see there that it was even the fullback, Leo Hielda, who gets into the attacking position at the near post.
Can Norwich work a way out here? Lafay does really well. Pinches possession back. Perhaps we're seeing Sunderland do things that we saw Norwich doing so well in the first half. The mood just feels a bit different in Carrow Road right now. They're almost expecting Sunderland to come at them. Mayenda steps away. Mayenda into the side netting. Well, he created it himself, but his final effort just felt a little rushed.
I'm not sure how clean he strikes this, and it deserved a goal. It's brilliant play. Skips away from Shane Duffy, who can't make a full-blooded challenge in the penalty area. Not convinced it's a clean strike at goal. Sunderland come forward again.
Here's Isidore, looks to cross, and he manages to find Mayenda, who skirts around a couple of challenges. Dangerous ball in. Now Neil. And he can shoot here, Dan Neil, but it's an easy one for Angus Gunn. Shame this game's only got a minute or so left to go.
You see Isidore involved in the play. That was a risky defensive piece of work there from Cordoba, who refrained from making the challenge on Mayenda. Good work to dink it towards the far post. Dan Neil didn't shoot.
Can Sunderland create an opportunity here in the limited time which remains? Well, it's been an entertaining night, but it seems as if it's one which isn't going to produce a goal. Both teams have had their moments. The game goes on still as Luke O'Nien clips one forward, helped on by Hume. And the game brought to an end by referee Jeremy Simpson. No way through for either side. Norwich left to root, being unable to capitalise on a very bright first half performance. Regis Labrice's side, I think fair to say, the better of the two teams in the second half. They restricted Norwich to very little whilst offering threats of their own. For Norwich, well, if there was any hope, of a top six place, and I don't think there were too many coming here tonight that still felt that there was. That surely now is gone. For Sunderland, it's another game negotiated, navigated as they move towards the playoffs. No breakthrough for either side here tonight at Carrow Road, where it finishes Norwich City 0, Sunderland 0.